The summer of 1945 hung heavy with the promise of peace, but underneath the surface, World War II's final chapter played out in the shadows. There was a secret mission, so classified that even most of the crew didn't know what was at stake. The heavy cruiser USS Indianapolis was tasked with a high-speed dash across the Pacific, carrying cargo so vital it could change the world forever. Leaving California in the July heat, the Indianapolis cut through the waves bound for Tinian, a remote island that would become the gateway to atomic destruction. Deep in the ship's hull, hidden from nearly everyone, lay the heart of Little Boy. This was the uranium, the very core of the bomb that would devastate Hiroshima. The crew, for the most part, didn't know their mission's true weight. They just felt the urgency, the security, the sense that something huge was going on. The delivery to Tinian was quick, efficient, and almost surgical. The cargo was offloaded, the fate of a distant city sealed in silence. With the secret mission done, the Indianapolis set a new course for the Philippines, hoping for a few days of calm before the next assignment. But they were sailing straight toward an enemy they couldn't see, a hunter that waited beneath the waves. The night of July 30th was calm. The Indianapolis cruised alone across the empty Philippine Sea. Unbeknownst to them, the Japanese submarine I-58, commanded by Mochitsura Hashimoto, lurked below. Hashimoto had one job: disrupt Allied shipping, and the Indianapolis, isolated and unescorted, was a perfect target. Just after midnight, disaster struck. 2 torpedoes sliced through the water and slammed into the Indianapolis. Explosions tore open her hull, igniting fuel and plunging the ship into chaos. In just 12 minutes, the mighty cruiser vanished beneath the waves, taking nearly 300 men with her. The rest, almost 900 sailors, were thrown into the dark, oil-slicked sea, clinging to debris, their shouts swallowed by the vast emptiness. As dawn broke, the scale of the horror became clear. Hundreds of men, covered in oil, bobbed in the water, surrounded by nothing but endless ocean. There were few life rafts, little food or fresh water, but the most terrifying enemy wasn't thirst or sunburn. It was what lurked below. Sharks appeared, drawn by blood and movement. The attacks were constant, brutal, and inescapable. The men watched, helpless, as some of their shipmates were dragged under. Dehydration and hallucinations set in. The sun burned without mercy and the ocean felt endless. Worse still, the Navy had no idea what had happened. A series of communication failures, partly because of the mission's secrecy, meant no search parties went out. No one was coming. The men were left alone, lost in a bureaucratic blind spot as deadly as the sharks themselves. On the 4th day, hope finally arrived. Lieutenant Wilbur Gwynn, flying a routine patrol, spotted an oil slick from the air. Curious, he swooped lower and saw the impossible: hundreds of heads bobbing in the water. He radioed for help, sparking a massive rescue operation. Destroyers raced to the scene, pulling survivors from the water, many barely clinging to life. By the end, only 316 of the original 1,195 crew had survived. They were heroes, but their ordeal was far from over. In the aftermath, the Navy needed someone to blame. Captain Charles B. McVay III, who had survived the sinking, was court-martialed for hazarding his ship by failing to zigzag, a tactic meant to avoid submarines. He became the only captain in U.S. history court-martialed for losing his ship in war, a decision many saw as a cover for deeper failures. Decades passed. Survivors never forgot, nor did they forgive the injustice done to their captain. In the 1990s, a high school student named Hunter Scott began to investigate, and the survivors rallied to clear McVay's name. In 2000, Congress finally exonerated him, recognizing the truth that had long been buried. The story of the USS Indianapolis is a brutal reminder of war's hidden costs, the dangers of secrecy, and the resilience it takes to survive the unimaginable.